Hello there everyone and welcome to the Magic Mechanics. Here we are in the garage. And we are here to film episode 1 of a small series called Chop Shop Restock. See, most if not all Magic players have a collection of cards set aside from their time collecting. But that collection is rarely just a display piece. It's a resource. It's a veritable junkyard of spare parts that can be considered for repairs and rebuilds for decks past, present, and future. It is the Chop Shop. And today I'm going over certain cards I've added to my Chop Shop inventory after the release of the latest set of Magic cards, Tales from Middle-earth. Yes, I've been beyond excited for this set. Universes Beyond. See what I did there? And after having unboxed the product I obtained, consisting of a Jumpstart booster box, 2 draft booster boxes, and one of each of the 4 Commander pre-constructed decks, I can say my excitement was perfectly placed. We're going to start with the obvious. I knew I didn't have an Ice Cube's chance in the heart of Mount Doom to get the 1 of 1 ring. A card valued at $2 million as of this taping. I could have gotten collector's booster boxes, but those were going for an astoundingly inflated $400 a piece. Even the Commander precons went up about $15 to $20 each, justified by the reprint selections contained in each deck, which by the way were awesome, as well as the small teaser of collector's booster sample packs that come with each deck. There was a very, very small chance of getting the 1 of 1 ring in one of those sample packs, but there was more of a chance in those than there was in a draft booster pack. We all understand the gimmick. This card is the only card in existence, and therefore it has surpassed the value of an alpha near mint Black Lotus card. The most expensive card in Magic history has just been put into second place by this gimmick card. And look, whatever anyone feels about this 1 of 1 ring gimmick, I genuinely don't care. It's a lottery. Am I heartbroken that I haven't and will never win the lottery? No. Am I heartbroken that I didn't get the 1 of 1 ring? No. That card is not why I was excited for this set. In this set, I only had one simple goal. I wanted to end up with at least 1 copy of each member of the Fellowship of the Ring. For those of you who don't know, that would mean Frodo Baggins, Sam Gamgee, Merry Brandybuck, Pippin Took, Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Boromir. In this episode, I'll be going over cards that I believe are the most notable as restock options for my Chop Shop. I have seen other YouTube shows where they talk about their favorite cards of the set, and while I agree with them, I do feel like there are some that are not being mentioned at all. And I do feel that the shows that I'm watching, at least, I know that they're a tight-knit community and they kind of all have the same tastes. So it seems like they're all repeating the same cards over and over. So there are some I feel are not quite making the list of noteworthy cards, so I'm going to give them a chance. For your sake, I won't go over each of the nearly 2,000 cards I've added to the Chop Shop. I tried filming the unboxing on my own. I mean, I really did try, but I didn't even get halfway through the first of the booster boxes, which is the Jumpstart booster, that's the smaller one, before the video was an hour long. I'm sorry, I'm doing this on my own. I do not have the time to sift through hours of footage to make a 15-minute video. But before we get into the actual cards themselves, I want to give a couple of special shoutouts. First, a shout to Card Kingdom, who not only had the inventory I was looking to pre-order, but was also very good at getting my product to me as promptly as possible, and had the customer service personnel to help keep me patient through the whole process while I was waiting on the edge of my seat. They were very patient with me, they were very clear with me, they were sympathetic to the situation, and I appreciate everything that they did for me. So if you're looking to add inventory to your Chop Shop, CardKingdom.com is the place to get it. They're not paying me to say that, I'm just a fan. A second shout out goes to all the artists who worked on this Magic set. The artwork on each and every card is absolutely immaculate and is remarkably entertaining. These artists treated their images of Tolkien's imagination with such incredible respect and devotion that they deserve all the credit in the world. They brought this set to life in ways that game mechanics just haven't done. I want to do an entire video where I just name all the artists that are listed on all the cards. I just want to give them all big shout outs because they did such great work. They did such great work and they deserve to be recognized by name. But for now, I'm just going to say thank you to all the artists for their wonderful work, and please keep it up. That said, let's get to the important stuff. To start with, I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. My primary goal was achieved. There were times when I was opening the booster packs when I questioned whether or not I'd get all 9 members of the Fellowship, but I did, in fact, achieve that goal. Alright, now just a quick showing of how I did, in fact, achieve the goal. Here I have what I dubbed the Red Book of Westmarch. Inside is all the legendaries from the set that I've picked up, from the boosters and from the decks, the commander decks. So many. Here's all the Frodo. Here's all the Sam. Sam gets the second page. Pippin and Merry share a page, and then Merry bleeds over because he's the more responsible one. Strider, Aragorn, and Aragorn. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, and Gandalf the White, and Gandalf Westward Voyager. Boromir, Legolas, or kills, love it. Gimli, plenty of Gimli, lots of Gimli. And I feel the unofficial 10th member of the Fellowship deserved a spot. Bill the Pony. That's right, we have Bill the Pony. Gets an honorary spot with the Fellowship because he travels pretty far. He makes it about as far as Moria. So good for him. Now for some of the other cards that I believe are noteworthy. I just thought these were interesting. These were worth mentioning. So Birthday Escape is the first one. Next is Erebor Flamesmith. This is along the lines of Firebrand Archer. Then we have Errand Rider of Gondor. This guy I'm actually using in my soldier deck. Heathline Knots. That's just so good. So much value. 3 different effects for 2 mana at instant speed. Love it. Isolation at Orthanc. This is still pretty good at instant speed. Next one is Lorien Revealed. I'm using this in my looter deck. This is that island cycling. Early game helps get some mana going. Mirkwood Bats. This one is fun. I have a Saproling deck this is going to work in. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. And next, we got Morgul Knife Wound. This turns anything useless. Chain a creature gets -3/-0, and at the beginning of your upkeep, exile this creature unless you pay 2 life. Nasty End I thought was interesting. Black and 1, and you have to sacrifice a creature. You draw 2 cards, or if the sacrificed creature is legendary, draw 3 instead. Now for Wrath, now for Ruin. +1/+1 counter on each creature I control, and they gain Vigilance until end of turn. Pelargir Survivor. This is in here because it's mono blue, and how many mono blue cards do you know of that are mana dorks? I mean, sure, you can only spend it on instant or sorceries, but come on, that's really good. Quarrel's End I thought was interesting. It's a blue and 2, and you have to discard a card. Draw 2 cards and you create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. I hear you veterans screaming, well, what about Thrill of Possibility? That costs 1 less, and it's the same thing, just without the soldier token. Well, that 1 extra goes toward the soldier token, doesn't it? So, Council's Deliberation. Blue and 1 to draw a card at instant speed, and whenever you scry, if you control an island, you may exile Council's Deliberation from your graveyard if you do draw a card. This is in my looter deck. Fiery Inscription. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Now that is pretty good. Gandalf's Sanction. This is fun. Red, blue, and 1. Gandalf's Sanction deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. How many Spellslinger decks actually have benefits similar to this, where they count the instants and sorceries in your graveyard? That happens all the time. I see it everywhere. But here's the cool part. excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So you still killed the creature. You hit it with damage all the damage that it can take. Then the excess goes to the creature's controller. Learn from the past. I know some people are already hating on it. I love cards like these. Because one of the things I always look for in a deck is how long it can last. And if you're playing a deck, like in Mono Blue, where you can't really access your graveyard all that well, then it's good to have one of these around. But also the idea of it saying target player. Everybody knows those decks where the graveyard is a resource. This card ruins that. And then on top of it, it's a draw card thing. At instant speed. Lost to Legend, 2 white, put target non-land historic permanent into its owner's library, 4th from the top. The fact that it's a historic permanent, which means artifact, legendary, or saga. Sagas are slow in and of themselves. You put it 4th from the top of the owner's library, and it's gonna be even slower. But then, furthermore, you could do that to other things. Think about doing that to someone's Soul Ring. How much that could set them back if they had to wait 4 turns to get it back. Reprieve. I saw this, I thought it was interesting because it's mono white, again, card draw, but return target spell to its owner's hand. It's white interaction. Mono white interaction with the stack. It's such a blue card, but it's white. I love it. Rising of the Day, I have this in one of my decks. So red and 2 for an enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. That is useful. Giving all your creatures haste is just useful, no matter who you are. Bath Song. Blue and 3 for this saga. The first 2 chapters, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. And the third chapter, shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard into your library, add 2 blue. This has actually been mentioned by other YouTube shows. I know this is going to see a lot of play. It's really, really good. Some very good value for this one. Assemble the Entmoot. Creatures you control have reach. That's useful, especially in green. But you can sacrifice this to create 3 tapped XX green tree folk creature tokens, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. Green. Green does a lot of life gain. Maybe not as much as white, but green does a lot of life gain. And then you put a reach counter on each of them. So this can either have your big old army able to block flying, or it can give you 3 really powerful tokens that can block flying. Born Upon a Wind. This is interesting. Blue and 1 an instant. You may cast spells this turn as though they had flash. Draw a card. There's Vidalcan Orrery, and there's Leyline of Anticipation. They give you flash speed. There are plenty of things that give your spells flash speed. And this is only for the single turn. And it costs 1 more than the spell Quicken. But Quicken is only for your next sorcery. This says you may cast spells this turn as though they had flash. That applies to all spells. And then draw a card. This is one that everyone's familiar with. Delighted Halfling. Taps to add colorless. And taps to add 1 mana of any color. Spend that mana only to cast a legendary spell, and that spell can't be countered. So it's basically a legendary Cavern of Souls in a non-legendary package. This is one of my favorites, though. This is one that I feel like is not being paid attention to. Elven Chorus. Green and 3 for an enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. This mono green enchantment is the bastard offspring of the Reality Chip and Cryptolith Rite. I saw this on an article and I was like, oh, I want that, and I got it in the boosters. I was so happy. Next, Flame of Honor. Red and blue and 1 for an instant, choose 1. If you control a wizard as you cast the spell, you may choose 2 instead. Red and blue, come on, there are wizards everywhere. Target player draws 2 cards, or destroy target artifact, or this instant deals 5 damage to target creature. And in blue and red, there's a lot of copying instance that happens in there, so yeah, that's great. Forge Anew. This blew my mind. A white and 2 for this enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, return target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equip abilities anytime you could cast an instant. Oh, we're gonna see some real nasty things happen with people who use this alongside of a Lightning Greaves. And you may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate during each of your turns. And red and white tends to be very artifact equipment based, so this is going to see some play. Gray Host Reinforcements. A 1/1 flying ward 3 for a white and 3. It's a spirit soldier. When it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on Gray Host Reinforcements equal to the number of creatures and creature cards exiled this way. If you like using Graveyard Hate, and you use soldiers and you want a big boy, this is it. Next, Wassernacht Captain, another card that's in my soldier deck. A white and 3 for 3/1 first striker, and when he or another human enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. So it's basically saying at the beginning of your upkeep, make your army bigger and tap your opponent's armies. Next, 1 ring to rule them all. Come on, we all knew this was coming. I'm not even going to go over all the abilities because the main thing I like is Chapter 2, destroy all non-legendary creatures. Press the enemy I thought was interesting. 2 blue and 2 for an instant, return target spell or non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. Oh god. Scroll of Isildur. We all know this one. All the other shows are talking about it. Gain control of an artifact. Tap up to 2 creatures and stun them. And then draw a card for each tap creature or target opponent controls. It's nice. There and back again. This isn't even Lord of the Rings. This is The Hobbit. What I really love about this is Chapter 3. I mean, yeah, all 3 of the abilities are great. What I'm focusing on is right here. Create Smaug, a legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying, haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. There are plenty of sacrifice outlets in red. War of the Last Alliance, this one's fun. Search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's your first 2 chapters. In Commander, there are a lot of legendaries in decks. And then the last one, creatures you control gain double strike until the end of turn, the ring tempts you. You just gave me the chance to tutor out some of my strongest legendary creatures, and then you gave me the chance to give them all double strike on the turn when they could attack. Last March of the Ents, this is one I was really excited to see. It was like Elven Chorus. I wanted this one, and I got it. I was so happy. 2 green and 6 for a sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. This is nuts. Shadow of the Enemy, 3 black, 3 colorless. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. You may cast spells from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast them. Here we go. Here's Gandalf the Grey. Folks, if you haven't seen the spoiler for this guy, then take a minute. Pause this video and read what he does. I'm not going to do it. It's too much work. Glamdring. I had to show you this one. This is... obviously, this needs to be equipped onto Gandalf. But take the time, pause this video, check out what this card does. It's amazing. Horn of Gondor. Yes. Yes. This card, when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Nice. That's why it's in my soldier deck. Alright, so it costs 3 to do that. The next thing, pay 3 and tap it, create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens where X is the number of humans you control. Oh my god. Let's just double the army, why don't we? Horn of the Mark is interesting. This did make it into a deck. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, pretty easy to do. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Pretty solid. Lothlorien Blade, it's in my elf deck. My elves get pumped up really nasty, so yeah. The idea of attacking and then doing damage before combat damage, that was appealing to me. Merry Esquire of Rohan, another member of the Fellowship. Another version of him. He's a red and white, 2/2, has haste. He has first strike as long as he's equipped, and whenever you attack with Merry and another legendary creature, draw a card. Mithril Coat. I have this in my counterspell deck because I'm going to be putting this on my commander or whatever legendary creature I play that I need to keep around. 3 mana at instant speed. It's indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target legendary creature I control. Equipped creature as indestructible. Equip 3. It's a super Darksteel plate. Alright, and here's Rivendell. Fun. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Tap to add a blue or pay a blue and 1, tap it, scry 2. Activate only if you control a legendary creature. Those are some of the cards I thought were noteworthy. Obviously, they may find their way into decks of mine, but I want to see if other players decide to try using them. This set is just too cool. This set is rich with Tolkien-esque flavor and comes loaded with interesting spins on existing game mechanics and potent effects of their own. I thought I'd be viewing this set with biased eyes because it's Lord of the Rings, but it turns out there's plenty of intrigue in this set regardless of your fandom. That, combined with fantastic artwork and a strong faith to the original source material unsurpassed by any other adaptation, leaves an epically delightful set of cards that will amplify the capabilities of most decks out there. I've already given all of my existing decks Arden upgrades, and I even brought 2 new decks to life thanks to the materials obtained in this restock. Whether you're new to Magic, looking to get into Magic, or a seasoned veteran at Magic, there's something for you in this set. Thanks for watching this installment of Chop Shop Restock. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Maybe even leave a comment, and please consider subscribing to this channel. It's free to subscribe, and you can unsubscribe anytime. But the more subscribers there are to this channel, the more content I'll be able to make. Finally, if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the bell so you can be notified when a new video is posted. I'll be getting a gameplay video series together fairly soon. With that series, you'll meet some of the other mechanics on my team who would be more than happy to help you come up with some ideas to give any deck you're struggling with that little boost of turbo you're looking for. So join me in a toast to the Tales of Middle-earth set. A toast to Magic. Here's to new frontiers in the future, and hey, here's to you. We'll see you in our next chapter.